right, let's get started. Thank you for coming to today's session on what's new and what's coming in the Microsoft Outlook family of apps. My name is JJ, and I am the Group Program Manager for Outlook on Windows. It is my pleasure today to be joined on stage by Alessio, Maduri, and Alan. Now, we're going to spend the majority of this presentation talking about the future of Outlook. I think we're going to wait for, can we hit 5 up here, actually? Will that get us to the slides? There we go. Now we're going to spend the majority of today talking about what's coming in the future of Outlook, but we thought it would take just one slide to celebrate a moment in Outlook's history. This last year, we celebrated the 20th birthday of Outlook. And this is my third Ignite. At prior Ignite presentations, I've actually had people raise their hands to tell me the first version of Outlook you've ever used. I'm not going to do that today because I know from prior history that the vast majority of you have actually been with us for the majority of our 20-year journey. So I want to take a moment and say on behalf of all of the engineers and designers and program managers back in Redmond, Washington, thank you for being our customers, and thank you for being with us on this journey and continuing to buy, deploy, and use us in your companies. We take it very seriously that you put a lot of trust in us every day to run such a critical application as a part of your overall business. And now, let's talk about the beginning of the next 20 years. It's fun being here for our third Ignite because we can go back in prior decks and pull out slides like this that show the promises that we were making you over the last few years. Over the last 2 years, we've been giving you a lot of messages around how we're bringing a lot of investments across the entire Outlook family, and you'll often see features show up in one of our Outlook family members, and then over time, you'll see those show up in the other Outlook endpoints. So it's our pleasure today to show you this slide from a few years ago that was actually a lot more empty than it is today. It's just about full, and we know that a lot of folks still have questions about when Focused Inbox is coming to Outlook on Windows, and Alan will actually have a slide that will talk about our roll-up map for that feature. Now, this slide is just about done, and we were thinking for a moment, so what should we do going forward? Should we create the next matrix of features that we're going to bring you over the next few years? And actually what we decided was we said, hey, we have a slide that we use internally to talk to our own team and our own executives about the investments that we're making in Outlook. So how about we just show that directly to you here publicly? We had to remove, of course, just a few bullets from some things that we're not announcing yet publicly, but I wanted to go ahead and show you that slide. And essentially talk to you about Outlook the same way that we talk about Outlook to our team internally. So as you can imagine, we make a large number of investments in Outlook, but we do prioritize. And the 3 most important areas of investment for us are quality, collaboration, and trust. So what we're going to do is actually spend the majority of today's presentation going into depth on those 3 areas. And at the end, we'll do a few demos on people intelligence and ecosystem as well. But inside the Outlook team, we spend a lot of time thinking about core app quality, how to enable better collaboration among folks, and providing the most trustworthy experience possible. Now, we're going to start to dive into quality. Before we do, 2 quick notes. So first, this whole presentation is meant to go very broad over all of these areas and not very deep. So each of these 6 pillars you see here could be their own 75-minute presentation. In fact, I think here at Ignite, we actually do have some presentations that are spending an entire 75 minutes on just one of these areas. So you will see us quickly going through a lot of things and not going to depth on any one of those specific areas. But if you do have depth questions, you can come up to us afterward, you can talk to us at the booth, or go review one of the depth sessions on these areas. Second, we're going to be showing you demos and screenshots from every Outlook that we ship. And we know a lot of you are going to say, that looks great. When is that coming to the Outlook that I use? And I'm going to say, just remember that slide, the matrix checkbox slide on the prior slide, where you'll see us start to try out features on one Outlook family endpoint. And then once we get it going well, it's just a matter of time before we bring it to the other Outlook endpoints. All right, and with that, let's get started and talk about quality. The most important thing we talk about and invest in across the Outlook endpoints is just core app quality. We want you and all of the employees in your businesses to every day experience a 5-star experience. It just feels like it's nailing the fundamentals of the Outlook experience. On stage here at Ignite over the prior few years, I mentioned that we use a lot of customer satisfaction data and also support call data to help drive our investments with regard to quality. And if you've been using Outlook 2016 Current Channel over the last year or 2, you've probably seen that one of the main places we've reinvented is the account configuration experience. It seems like maybe a secondary experience in Outlook, but we found through support data and support call data and customer satisfaction information that that was actually one of the main areas causing a lot of pain in our experience. So if you've set up an account lately in Outlook 2016 current channel, you have seen that that entire old school battleship gray wizard from last decade has been replaced. Now, last year at Ignite, we talked about one of the next investments we know we need to make in quality and customer satisfaction is just this feeling of the app that it's too complicated. We've done a great job delivering a huge amount of value and features to the application, but it's actually gotten to the point now where the main feedback we get from everyday end users is that the app feels a little overwhelming and frankly too complicated. So we started to show screenshots last year about a refreshed Outlook experience. I'm happy to show you today a current screenshot of what we're working towards, and I'll even show you a little bit of working code here in a moment. So as your eyes study this screenshot, you're probably seeing a few different things. One is that the ribbon is down to a single line ribbon. Now, I know a lot of you are probably here with us in the transition from menus to the 3-line ribbon that all of you are used to now. We believe one of the things that is contributing to an overall feeling of complexity is just showing people a huge number of features. And we know from telemetry that many of them don't actually use those features. So the buttons essentially are just causing a feeling of complexity without actually adding a lot of value. So we're able to reduce the ribbon down to a single line. If you still like your 3-line ribbon, there'll still be a way to get that back. And the default command set we're going to provide folks is going to be a much smaller set of buttons because, again, we know from telemetry that only a small number of buttons are used by the vast majority of folks. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are going to be looking at this ribbon and saying, but wait, where's my favorite button? And for me, it's the work offline button. But I know from telemetry that I'm rare in my usage of the work offline button. I get email essentially constantly, so when I need to get work done, I often click the work offline button, get my work done, and then go back online and sync. So notice the plus button at the top right of the screen. You're going to be able to remove buttons that you don't use, and you're also going to be able to use that plus button to add back popular buttons or the buttons that you enjoy using yourself. And that will allow you to build an Outlook command ribbon, essentially, that is customized for your everyday usage. Now let's go ahead and give you a quick look at what it looks like in code. So this is my version of Outlook that I use every day at work. You'll notice that we have the single line ribbon up top. The engineers have not yet given me the ability to remove buttons. If I could remove buttons, I would get rid of quick steps, move, and rules. Those aren't things that I use very frequently. And you'll notice I don't have a plus button yet. But it's interesting, after I've used this version of Outlook for several weeks, when I go back and see screenshots of the 3-line ribbon, or when I use it on my production machine at home, that production or that 3-line ribbon feeling does feel a little bit heavy to me. So the single line ribbon experience here is something that I really look forward to providing to everyone here. Now, if you get really into ribbon customization, and if you're an expert in that, you know that you can actually do ribbon customization today, but it's actually a pretty challenging dialogue to use in Office to customize the buttons that you have in the ribbon, and there's not a way to get down to a single line ribbon. Now, if you are eagle-eyed, you'll notice that my demo here is not quite showing you the new left navigation in Outlook. So let's go back to the screenshot and take a look at that. The left nav is being redesigned to be both beautiful and a lot more usable to folks in the everyday scenarios that they have for the left nav. That's not available yet in my desktop Outlook build that I have. But remember what I said about trying out features first on other endpoints and shipping them there and then eventually bringing them to the other endpoints. For those of you who are using Outlook on iOS right now, that left nav probably looks a little bit familiar because you are seeing it on your phone today. We recently shipped an update to the Outlook on iOS user experience that provides this new left navigation experience. And it's completely redesigned to give you super fast access to the key things that you want in your Outlook experience, for example, your drafts folder. This new experience also provides, this new Outlook mobile experience also provides a new conversation experience that we're trying out in Outlook mobile to see how it feels for folks. Now, if we have Mac Outlook users, I think the left nav is also showing up in Mac Outlook. And a lot of these design elements that I'm talking about, again, are starting out on individual endpoints, but eventually are being brought across the family. So to talk to you about how these investments and other quality investments we're doing across Outlook will be brought to Mac and other endpoints, I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to Alessio.
Thank you. Thanks. My name is Alessio Roig. I'm the GPM for Outlook on the Mac. I will talk to you today, and this is my second Ignite, the first time on stage, about what we have in the future store for Outlook for Mac. And I'll walk you through both through our vision for the experience redesign, as well as a number of features we're going to bring to the product pretty soon. And then I will touch on some quality areas that we've been making investments across all the Outlooks and give you an update of where we are with them. So Outlook for Mac receives feedback that is very similar to Windows when it comes to complexity. It's too complicated, it's overwhelming because too many controls are available all the times and only use a few. On top of that, we also receive feedback from Apple platform users that say it really doesn't feel quite at home on the Mac. It feels that it's a little bit drilled on top of the Mac platform. So our effort is going to be balancing the need to create a product that feels genuinely Microsoft and Office with the fact that we're on a specific platform that has its own capabilities, and people go to that platform because they're looking for those capabilities. What I will walk you through now is a number of not working code, is actually snapshots, but that they deliver the philosophy and the vision that we have behind our redesign. So the mantra for our team, the way we have synthesized the philosophy you're going after is help me focus and help me find. And everything we're doing is really to follow this mantra. What you can see here, as JJ was saying, we have a left nav that allows you to switch across all your accounts and modules, and it becomes an element that gives you a sense that it doesn't matter what platform you're in, you're in Outlook. And then you have the familiar but a lot more polished experience with 3 panes. And on the right-hand side, you see we're looking at implementing a threaded conversation. We're listening very closely to our friends on mobile to see what they learn about the conversation model that they have just delivered. And we're going to bring it to our platform. We want to give you a way to really see a threaded conversation, be able to communicate and chat in that context without losing the sense of the discussion that's going on. You also see a much more polished interface when it comes to control. And our goal is very much like Windows to allow you to control what buttons are on your surface, the ones that you use, no more, no less, with the same capabilities of customization that Windows is going to have. But also, we go a lot further, and we want to start leveraging characteristics of the platform and our familiarity with the iOS platform. For example, we want to bring capabilities such as schedule later for messages that is very popular on the iOS platform. And that's a way for you to focus, not lose time by having messages that you want to read later being appearing all the time. The other thing that we heard loud and clear is that search is not where it should be. It's not where it should be, both at the level of success of finding things you're looking for, but also in discoverability. It's in the upper right corner. It's an Apple paradigm, but we're really looking at, is it really that paradigm the best thing for a product like Outlook? So we're playing around with the location of the search box, the size, we want to make it more discoverable, but also we're going to bring online search to the platform and bring a lot of capabilities to make search a lot more immediate. I will talk about search in a minute, but overall, expect Outlook for Mac to have very much the same capabilities as Windows or mobile or on the web when it comes to search. The philosophy around help me focus, help me find goes also towards the calendar, where we strongly believe that the information that the people are looking for when they look at their calendar and their meetings should be available without having to dig any further than the top level. Who organized the meeting? Who's attending? And everything else should be available at any time without you having to click on the item, open the item, go to another tab, find out who accepted or declined, and everything else. And we're looking at this, for example, by having a fly-out card that gives you exactly all that information, allows you to interact with the item, accept it, start a Teams or Skype conversation, and see what accepted, what the notes are, in one fell swoop. This platform also, as I said, we're looking at innovating and bringing capabilities that are available in other versions of Outlook in a way that's genuine and true to the macOS platform. One example I'll give you is the to-do bar. If you use Windows Outlook, you know about the to-do bar. It's one of those features that are high on demand. User voice It's in our top 5, and we're looking at bringing it in, but bringing it in a way that Mac OS can. And not only we want to be able to pin it to the right-hand side, but also want to give you the ability to use the Mac widget bar at the top of your screen to glance at your calendar and even at your new incoming messages without even having Outlook in focus. It could be minimized. You should be able to glance, help you focus on that moment, or if there's anything you need to do there, go on about your day. You know how I often think of Outlook as a frenemy? It can be incredibly helpful. You go looking for something, half an hour later, you find that you were lost complete thread and start looking at 35 other mails. The goal is really to give you the possibility to focus on what matters to you right now. The other thing I want to talk about Mac Outlook is how the speed at which we've been bringing features to the platform. Since 16 months ago when we released the product, we keep on releasing every quarter new features. And we do that by listening to usage telemetry through our friends and colleagues on Windows and the other platforms, but also through user voice and customer engagements. And we're listening to that very closely. I recommend that you have all your orgs go to user voice, to the business portal user voice that we have, and vote for the features you want, because we listen to that very closely. Of course, we triangulate that with our desire to have a meaningful and coherent product, but ultimately we want to bring the most used and most wanted features to this platform. In the last 3 months, we brought favorites, delay send, template support, and many others, without mentioning add-ins and group support. And you will see that, for example, groups will keep on investing in the platform and bring more capabilities. The roadmap is very deep, and if you're interested, there's a session diving deep on the Outlook for Mac roadmap following this session. I recommend, if you're interested, go there. But I will now walk you through just a few of the features that are currently in our code and are going to come to the product pretty soon. First of all, as I said, we want Outlook for Mac to be at home on the platform. And there's capabilities that Mac offers that we really want to make immediately available. The most simple thing, for example, is the ability to delete or archive an item by simply sliding the touchpad on your computer. That's just something to give you a sense of what we can do on the Mac OS. But it goes, of course, further than that. Here, for example, I have a message that I have with JJ and Alan. We took a ride yesterday. If you know, if you use Outlook for Mac, guess what? You have no tables. You end up doing a lot of jumping around between Excel or PowerPoint and Outlook. But guess what? Now we're going to have tables. And with the same power controls that Outlook for Windows has. On top of that, we also can share items from SharePoint and OneDrive. Madhuri will talk in length about the experience per se, but as you can see, we're already connected and piped in the background to bring stuff from SharePoint and OneDrive. And one other thing that is going to become available very shortly is our ability to share to OneNote. This is something that we've been working with the OneNote team on, and it's going to be available within the next 2 weeks. If you're on Insider Fest, I think you're already seeing it, but within a month, we're going to have it in production. And it's fully embedded. You choose where to post it. You can either open online or you open using the local client. As I said, these are just a handful, a very small one of the features going to bring to the platform. I recommend you guys attend the session that we have on Mac Deep Dive to get a full sense of where we're headed. Thank you. Let's move now a little away from the specific of Outlook for Mac and talk about quality investments that we've been doing across the board on all platforms. JJ already mentioned this a few minutes ago, the add account experience. Both for Windows and for Outlook for Mac, this has been a generator of calls for years. And this is one of those cases where partnering across all the platforms really brings the value of Outlook to you. We leverage the experience that the Outlook Mobile has had in delivering an engaging experience and simple experience of entering your name and your password to create an account. We leverage the technology, and we brought it to Outlook for Mac, and on Windows it's going to be available shortly. But again, it's one of those team efforts across all the assets that allows us to give you an experience that demonstrably, since we've seen calls been dropping very, very significantly, we can see how the value is coming to you. The next thing I want to talk about is search. We talked about this last year. We're here to talk about because we're making major progress, and you can start seeing this in Outlook on the web and on mobile. The search experience is a transformative one, and it's going to be long-running because it will keep on investing constantly, make it better and better. What I can say, there's two fundamental things that are coming your way right now. First of all, a continuous effort on reliability, speed, and performance. It doesn't stop at any point. We'll continue investing because without that, any feature that we build on top of a dissatisfying performance is useless. The second thing is that we want to make it very easy to find what you're looking for. And the first experiences that you will see in this space are going to be showing results by relevance, no longer by time of arrival. Yes. The other thing is zero input queries. Especially on small screens, we are showing now on mobile the ability to search either by people you interact with or items that are in your mailbox or events you're in your calendar. We want to make it sure that you can search without entering too much data. On top of that, we're also going to have basic suggestions in the search box brought in using our Bing search. As I said, this is just the beginning. There's a lot of experimentation happening on large and small screens for further investments. But these are the first things you will see coming in across all the clients. As I said, on the web and mobile are doing this right now. Windows and Mac are right on their tail. Calendar sharing has been a sore point. We were here last year talking about it, and we're here to talk about it again because you can say, guess what? As of today, you can see delegate calendars on mobile. And also, we have standardized the way we talk to the server across all the clients when it comes to delegation of calendars. That makes it for a much more reliable and simple experience, both in sharing and being the person that receives the sharing of the calendar. You can see this on mobile right now and also on web. Mac and Windows, again, are on the tail, but we're very close to getting this done. Before I go, one thing I want to mention is in-app support. And this is, again, one of those cases where we leverage the experience of one of our teams to expand this capability across other teams. In-app support has been available in Outlook mobile for quite some time, and we learned a lot from them on what the value it is for each application when it comes to engaging with customers, but also understanding what the issues in the wild are. We brought this experience currently in Outlook for Mac. It's available to all tenants as of, I think, March. And it's going to come to Outlook for Windows shortly. I think right now it's in Insider Slow. The value that we look at is this. There is a structure for support that you know and you trust. This helps us in understanding what the trends of issues are as we release every month. For my team, the release is every 7 days. It's absolutely vital. It's not another team. It's our own engineering team looking at trends and addressing trends on the fly. And what this helps us is not only identifying issues and helping customers by building baked-in responses and solution, but also helps us identify the next set of challenges when it comes to quality that we're going to tackle. I'm looking forward to being here next year and say, you see all the things that we talked about, search, calendar sharing, they're all done. They all work great. These are the challenges that we're going to be tackling now onward. And a lot will come from exactly the data we get from in-app support. And now I'll pass on Madhuri for collaboration.
Thanks, Alessio. Collaboration has always been a focal point for us at Outlook. So today I'm going to go through a few scenarios in which we've improved and enhanced the experience and how you can empower your users to achieve more with Outlook. It's no secret, teamwork is how things are getting done. Whether you're working with people inside of your organization or working with people outside of your organization, you need a way to collaborate with them safely and securely. In fact, there's 2 times as many teams now compared to 5 years ago. And also, an average information worker has seen an increase in collaborative work by 50%. And then companies that invest in collaborative work are more likely to be high-performing by 5 times. So with that, I'm just going to jump straight into demos. All right, let's turn my computer on. I think it fell asleep. For the demo purposes, I'm signed in as Lynn, and I'm working as a marketing manager. So as you can see, this is Inbox. And Inbox, I have an email from Christy. So in this email, I get something saying that there's a new person on our team, and they're working on a product launch of Project Ice Cream, along with me, Lee, and Lydia. So emails like these come by pretty often since I'm an owner of a group. And whenever someone new joins a team, it's really hard for them to immediately get into the work and start being productive. They don't have access to the right resources. They don't know the right people they need to connect with. So having the ability for them to get some of this information can be very powerful. So in this case, Christy's asking me to add Alan to the right groups. So I'm going to add Alan to marketing. Now, when I hover over this group name, you see that a group card shows up. This group card is a way for you to quickly get more information about a group. You'll be able to see a description of the group along with the members of the group and a few other ways to navigate to the resources of the group. In the group card, if I tap on members, you'll see that they're also the owners, and you will also see the members. In a group, you have the ability to add not just internal members, but also external members. So here, you see that I've added someone with a Gmail account, and there's an icon indicating that this user is a guest. Though they're guest users, they still get access to all the content and files from the group. So I'm going to add Alan to this group, and it's really easy to do. I click on this More Options and Add Members. And now I just search for Alan D. Young, and I see it's right there. I click on his name, and OK. So you see that that Alan's being added. And that's it. Now Alan has access to all the content in the group. So what is a group? I'm going to head over to the group space. There's a few ways you can do that. You can do that from the group card, or you can navigate from your left nav. I'm going to navigate from favorites. I've added marketing to my favorites because I frequently visit this group. And you'll see that it's very similar to your inbox. You have the conversation list in the center, and you have your reading pane on the right. This was very intentional in that there shouldn't be any learning curve when someone new joins the team. And so we wanted to make it as simple and as easy to get started as possible. Now, when someone like Alan joins the team, he gets access to all the content that's in this group. Not only just conversations, but he gets access to the group calendar, the group files, team OneNote, and a few other resources. So I'm going to head over to the calendar space. Our team typically uses the calendar for things such as milestones, for team meetings, for keeping track of any recurring meetings, or for out-of-office notices. So I'm going to head to the current week view, and you'll see that we have a few events on there already. Now, if I'm on a group calendar and there's an event that I want to add to my own personal calendar, all I have to do is right-click and select Add to my calendar. Now, milestone 1 of Project Ice Cream should also be on my calendar. I'm just going to overlay my calendar so you can take a look. And as you see, 8 a.m. Friday, milestone 1 is also on my calendar. Not just for events, but we also use it to notify our group members about out-of-office appointments. Typically, whenever we want to send out an out-of-office appointment, we send a meeting request, but we've gotten feedback that meeting requests are a little too distractive in that it clutters their inbox and that users don't necessarily need to decline or accept my vacation. So here, now if I want to add an appointment, it's really easy to do so. From home, I choose New Appointment. I select the subject that I want. I'm just going to say Lynn on vacation. I can type in a location if I would like, and then I set a time. So I'm going to choose for Friday, and it's an all-day thing. As soon as I click Save, it gets added to the group calendar. And now people people are aware of this, but they don't necessarily get a separate meeting request in their own calendar. Okay, in that email, Christy also mentioned that I'm going to be working on Project Ice Cream with Lydia, Lee, and Alan. So I'm going to create a quick group for that. Creating a group is also very simple. This is something that used to take us potentially up to a few days, where the user would send out an email to the admin asking them to create a group. The admin would then create it, and then the user would have to go back and add the members. But we really simplified it, and through power of self-service, made it into a few seconds. So creating a group, I'm going to create from the left nav, and from the header, I can choose new group. When I do that, I get this dialog. From this dialog, all I have to do is fill out a few fields. I'm going to call it Project Ice Cream. I can set a description if I would like. I can set a classification. Classification is an option that's pre-configured by the IT admins, and this is to enforce some of the data policies that are in the companies. I can select a privacy if I would like as well. There's two options, public group or a private group. A public group means that anyone in the organization is able to see what's inside, so that's really easy to share knowledge throughout your organization. A private group means that only those who are in the group are able to have access to this content. I'm going to make this a private group for now. And then the last option that I have to choose is how my members will receive this content. Will they receive all the content in their inbox, or will it be in the group space? And of course, the members can later change this based on what best suits them. I'm going to select this so everyone gets it in their inbox. And that's it. The group is getting created, and in a second, you'll see that it's been created. Your group has now been created. Now, I want to add in my colleagues. So I'm going to add in Alan, again, here. I'm going to add in Lee and Lydia. Once I add in my colleagues, you'll see that there's a group space that gets created. Right now, there's no content because there's no content in this group, but it gets created, and this project, this group gets added to your left nav under the group's header. So now I can add in content, share any files or any of the events right from here. We know that our enterprise users are using Outlook Desktop, but at home sometimes they like to use web. So I'm going to show you guys some of the demos from the web client. Again, here's the group space, and you'll notice that it's very similar to what you saw. The same list of groups on your left, you have your conversation list, and then you have your reading pane. I mentioned earlier that you can engage with the group on your own terms. So here is my header, and from here, as a member, I can decide to change the option the creator has set. So if I choose following, that means I'm getting everything in my inbox. But if I choose stop following in inbox, I'll get only certain things in my inbox, such as replies to me or some of the group events. But the remaining conversations will land in the group space. Now, I can choose this option, but we've heard some feedback and added more granular controls. You can go to those controls from the settings icon here, and there's a manage group email. At this point, you'll be able to choose if you want to receive just replies, group events, or nothing at all in your inbox. Now, what's really cool about groups in Outlook is that you have a separate file space. This file space is a collection of all the files that have been attached to emails, files uploaded directly from here or from SharePoint. So it's really easy for me to access any file that I need to get my work done. And it's listed by recency. So the most recently modified one is at the top. And you can also see who it's modified by. So for now, I'm going to go to Research Ice Cream, which is a PowerPoint file that's been uploaded by Christy. And you'll get this great side-by-side view. This view doesn't just exist from groups, but it also exists from your Outlook as well. Now, I don't have to switch between different views to get my task done. Just from here, I can go through my PowerPoint. I can also just read what are the other conversations that are happening and get what I need done quickly. So far, I've shown you demos from groups in Outlook, but I want to take some time to show you the great things we're doing to compose from your inbox. So I'm going to head over to my inbox, and compose, I'm going to start clicking on new, and I get a new compose window. And one of the things is we've noticed that people usually communicate with the same set of people over and over again. And so providing a way to easily address these people was very beneficial. So me, in my case, I frequently work with Alan, and I also work with Emily, Isaiah, Lee, and Megan. What you'll notice here is I have a suggestion to add all of them. This is an intelligent suggestion that's been given to me based on my previous communication patterns as well as my usage. So now if I take up this suggestion, all of them get added. and I don't have to worry about missing out on anyone or even having to type out all the 5 people's names. I use this frequently, and this really is helping me save a lot of time. The next thing you do when you're composing, sometimes you attach a file. Now, one of the most annoying things that happens to me is I send out a file to someone, and they send me an email back saying they don't have the right permissions for it. And then I have to update the permissions and send it back to them. But we really streamlined that flow and made it very simple. From here, all I have to do is click Attach. I choose the file that I want to attach. I can choose to add it as a copy or share it as a OneDrive link. And you'll notice that there is an icon here to indicate that it's a OneDrive, and anybody can edit this file. Now, if you want to change these permissions, you can do it straight from here. Clicking on this caret opens this dialog, which lets me to change permissions. Now, here I can change permissions so that the recipients can edit and view, anybody in my organization can edit or view, and anyone can edit or view. And the IT admin has controls to turn off some of these settings. So I'm going to choose so that anybody in my organization can edit and click OK. That's it. And you'll immediately see the results in that it shows you anyone in my organization can edit. Now you know all your recipients will be able to have access to the file and they can edit it. Now let's say if I add someone that's not in my organization with a Gmail account. If I add them, you'll get this tooltip indicating that people outside your organization won't be able to open this file. Now I can either change permissions or just send it knowing that these people might not have access. These are just some of the functionalities that we have that I had a chance to share. We're continuously iterating on features and listening to your feedback. And so hope you guys try it out and give us your feedback through user voice. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to JJ to talk about trust.
Excellent. Thank you, Madhuri. We know that trust is one of the primary reasons that everyone continues to purchase, deploy, and use Outlook. So I'm going to take a few moments to talk through trust, our investments in trust. Now, the interesting thing about trust, we have a lot of sessions that go into depth on our trust and security and privacy features. And if you've been to those sessions, you know that we have large teams of engineers at the service side, but also at the Windows OS side who are providing a wonderful base layer of features for us to build upon. So it's going to feel a little weird here, so I'm just going to show you some user experience-based features on trust, but underlying those simple user experience features is a significant amount of technology both at the service and often at the OS layer. But first, I want to cover one slide on Outlook mobile architecture as it relates to trust, because perhaps the #1 question that we have gotten over the last 2 years when we've come to Ignite and talked about Outlook Mobile is simply, when is Outlook Mobile and the Outlook mobile architecture going to be fully powered by the MS Cloud and no longer using AWS? So I'm sure if you've been watching our press, you've seen that that is an announcement we've already been able to make, and I'm happy to say today that we're no longer using AWS as a part of our Outlook mobile architecture, and the architecture is fully powered by the Microsoft Cloud. So if that's what was holding you back from deploying Outlook Mobile into your enterprise, now's the time to go ahead and go forward. So let's talk about some other trust features in Outlook. So phishing has always been a threat in email, but it seems to have gotten a ton more press over the last year. There's a bunch of different ways that folks can be phished, but one is essentially the age-old ruse of trying to get you to click on a link that you really shouldn't click on. So one of the features that we have available today in Office 365 via the Advanced Threat Protection offering is what we call safe links. So the image on the left is the image of the link that gets executed when a person clicks a link in Outlook today. And it's kind of hard to see, but the highlight there shows the link as it's embedded. But what the service is doing is wrapping every single link into a wrapper such that when a person clicks the link, it opens a browser and first checks with our service to see if that link is a known phishing link. And then if it is, it prevents the user from going to that site. Now, the advantage of it is that this service provides a lot of extra safety and phishing prevention for end users. The disadvantage, of course, is that in our initial user experience design here, it kind of buries what the actual URL is in that image on the left. So one of the things we're doing is working to make things look more like the image on the right, where you can clearly see the URL that you are trying to visit, as well as the fact that you're being protected by the Office 365 Safe Links service. Now, phishing has gotten a lot more advanced though, right? Like we still try and get folks out there to, if you're a nefarious person, we still try and get folks to click on links that you're not supposed to. But also sometimes you just try and get people to reply. So at the service layer, we will scan for known phishing threats. And the top left is an example where the Advanced Threat Protection Service had detected a known phishing attack. And what we're able to do in the UI is just put a, actually in this case in the mail, a red bar at the top that says, this is a phishing scam. There are also ways, though, that people can use domain name spoofing and email address spoofing to send mail. And in that case, again, Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection catches that someone might be spoofing who they are, and then again gives you a warning that you should really be cautious when replying to this email because this person might not be who they say they are. Now, if you've been following closely, though, the press over the last year, and there was even press on this yesterday evening I saw while practicing this presentation, there's an even more advanced threat that's kind of more of a social threat that folks are using, which is essentially going and creating a valid email address on often a consumer email service, and then using that email address to email various folks and then try and get them to reply. So actually, I think the press I saw last night was another example of a high-level government official falling prey to this attack. And in this attack, what they do is, so for example, my email address is jjkidiz@microsoft.com. Someone goes and creates jj-kidiz or jj_kidiz at Gmail, Outlook, or yahoo.com, and then they start sending mail to my kids' school, my wife, my coworkers, and then seeing if any one of them will reply. Now, hopefully my coworkers know better to watch out for that, but you can imagine people at my kids' school, it's not clear that they'll know that this isn't actually my personal email address. So obviously the technologies I've shown you here today aren't going to catch those kind of threats, but I can show you something that we are working on for future release. So this is my core inbox again. Check out the bar at the top of that mail. So this is a valid email sent to me by a coworker, but he accidentally used his personal address. So in this case, this is not a phishing mail, but it is completely valid for the service to say, hey, you often reply to mail from someone called Garrett Sakamoto, and in this case, I've worked with Garrett for about a decade, but this address is not the one you usually use to correspond with him. So this is the kind of feature that we're working on that we believe is a pretty good threat protection feature that hopefully when people get mail just gives them a little bit of pause to figure out if this is a potential phishing threat and that they need to be careful not to reply and then end up in a news cycle and also to divulge information that they should not be divulging. In this case, I knew from reading the body of the mail that this was actually Garrett, and also he wasn't asking for my credit card number or any other information. But what it did allow me to do, I'm sure a lot of you have experienced either getting mail accidentally from someone's personal email address or sending email to their personal address. So what I was able to do, because I got this bar, was on the reply, drop Garrett's personal account and then add back his corporate account. That's right. Let's actually go back to 5. One other feature I wanted to show you is something that we talked about last year. I think a lot of people here might already be educated about Windows Information Protection. We talked about it last year, but said we hadn't shipped it yet and promised that we were going to ship it. And so I'm going to show you a quick demo of Windows Information Protection. For those who aren't aware of what Windows Information Protection is, broadly it allows you to take advice and separate the data between corporate and personal. And then once you know which data is corporate and personal, it allows you to do scenarios like, if you accidentally try and move data from corporate to the personal domain, we can either block that or just warn you. And also, if a machine is compromised, if it is stolen, or if an employee is no longer working at a company, we can send signals to that device to have it wipe all of the corporate data and not take out the personal data with it. So let's do a quick demo of Windows Information Protection. So again, my personal inbox here. I have Outlook set up here in a way that I'm guessing a lot of you do as well. I have my main corporate account. I have my personal accounts. I actually run my kids' parent-teacher association, so I get a ton of mail there. I do a lot of work inside this inbox, and it's easy to make mistakes. So let's say I'm going through my day, and I take a corporate mail here, and I file it to the wrong account. So I try to take it to my personal account. Windows Information catches it and says, are you really sure that you want to move work content to this personal domain? In this case, I'll say no, and organizations also have the ability to just block those actions. Now let's say though that I do something a little more advanced than trying to just move a mail. Notice that it's called Windows Information Protection, not Outlook Information Protection. So it's actually an OS and Office level feature. So if I drag this over to the desktop, you'll notice I get a little briefcase icon indicating that this is recognized as corporate data. And then if I bring up my personal OneNote notebook, where I actually do a ton of work outside, a ton of my personal work rather, outside of Microsoft, and if I absentmindedly try to stuff this mail into either this page, or you can see my kids, again, PTSA sent notebook over here, it'll catch that at the Windows layer and say, are you sure that you want to move this corporate data over to this personal domain? In this case, I'll say no again. A lot of times these features are helpful, not necessarily to prevent nefarious users, but just everyday accidents from happening. Because we know, people use Outlook in ways that mix a lot of their personal and corporate information. And we like to provide those kind of features just to prevent people from making accidents. Now, the next slide I'm going to show you is going to be about classifying information at the next level. Because once we separate corporate and personal, we know then that you can't just take all of the corporate data and apply a single retention and security and encryption policy to it. A lot of countries around the world have various regulations with regard to how you need to treat tax records and banking records and medical records, and often we know what that results in for enterprises is that a company policy has to be put together, and then people have to be trained on when you see this mail, apply this retention policy, when you see this mail, apply this security policy. And then once everyone gets trained, and assuming they all remember to do that, the laws change. Right? And especially if you're a multinational company, it can often feel like the laws are changing with a good amount of regularity. So just keeping up with all that change and keeping people trained can be very challenging. So I'm going to show you the one kind of early stage mock-up here since y'all came out to see this presentation. This is something that's going to take us a while to get out, but what we're trying to create is a single label button across the Outlook ecosystem that you can use to train your employees to label the different types of email they have. And this menu is defined by your IT department. And in fact, this menu can be deployed separately to your finance department, to your legal department, to your medical records department, so that it can use a language that makes sense for each employee in that division. But then here's the really cool thing. All you have to do is train them to classify their email using this menu. And then behind the scenes, the ID department says, when a person makes it a tax record, here's the retention policy. When the person makes it when the person says it's a medical record, here's the security policy that needs to be applied. And then once they know that, if the laws change, rather than having to retrain all your employees, you just change the policy behind the scenes. Let's say that for a Swiss bank, instead of keeping a message for 100 days, you have to keep it for 200 days. That's just an IT policy change. Everyday employees do not have to make any changes to their everyday workflow that they're already doing. So those are just a few examples of some trust investments that we're making. I'm now going to hand it over to Alan to talk about intelligence.
Thanks, JJ. So we've now talked through the first 3 areas of focus for Outlook in this next calendar year. I'm going to be talking you through the other 3 sections. In the most exciting sections, I have the pleasure of talking to you first about intelligence. So intelligence is an area where Microsoft generally and Outlook specifically is going to continue to invest to make sure that Outlook stays differentiated from our competition. Specifically, you saw us a lot on stage with Satya Monday, where we're going to be focused on integrating the intelligence of the Microsoft graph and the LinkedIn graph and of Cortana directly into Outlook to help you get stuff done and focus on what matters. So I'm going to show you a few of these things we've got queued up for the next year. So the first one is really exciting to announce the first integration of Cortana into the Office suite. Coming directly into the Outlook apps for iOS and Android first. So today, notifications are relatively simple. They're set at a 15-minute or 30-minute or hour-long intervals ahead of time. But what we're going to do here is integrate Cortana to be able to provide you with smart notifications based on the time, distance, traffic, and location where you're going. So in this set of screenshots here, you can see in the first one, I'm entering in a location. Outlook now integrates with Bing Maps, so that you can actually have an address entered directly into that location. Then as you do so, Cortana then has that information and can start to trigger smart, intelligent notifications based on when it's time to leave. So you can see there, it knows how far I need to go, knows the traffic, so you're never going to be late to that important meeting. When you, instead of getting that 15-minute reminder and being like, oh crap, I forgot about this meeting, it's now 45 minutes away, you're going to get that trigger. Now, we're not just stopping there. We're not stopping just with addresses you've entered. We're actually going to take it a step further. So a lot of locations are just simple text-based strings, right? You enter, I'm having this meeting at my work or my office or my gym in this scenario. So Cortana, as you go to you have a recurring meeting or you go schedule this meeting location several times, Cortana will be able to infer the location based on the time in your GPS data and actually go ahead and update that meeting without user interference. And so actually in this scenario, you see it's now determined where my gym is, automatically added that location, and then we'll start firing those time to leave notifications based on that. So super smart, help you make sure you get there on time. So this experience, the time to leave notifications will start showing up on iOS next month and come to Android after that. And the inferred locations, once they're inferred, will be something that's shared at the calendar level across all the Outlook family of apps. So look forward to that coming over the next year. Another way we're integrating Cortana with the Outlook and email experience is in scheduling meetings. Now, we all know scheduling meetings inside the company, pretty easy. We've got the scheduling assistant, you see free busy, it's fantastic. Scheduling meetings outside the company, remote meetings, however, is not so simple. In fact, sometimes setting up the meeting takes more time than actual meeting it takes itself as you do the back and forth. What time are you free? What time are you free? And you go back and forth, right? So what we're going to do is have Cortana come on board and be our personal assistant to help make this easy. So in this scenario here, imagine I'm emailing Kat, and I say, hey, Kat, let's find a time to meet. Say I'm interviewing her for a new role on the team, and I might, traditionally would say, hey, what time are you free? Instead of doing that, now you can watch this GIF here, I'm going to CC Cortana on the email instead. So instead of saying, what time are you free, I'm going to say, hey, Cortana, can you help us schedule a meeting this week? So then on the right side here, you now see the recipient experience. So on the right side, you see I've sent this email, then Cortana responds directly to Kat on my behalf. So I'm not even on that email. Cortana reaches out to Kat and says, hey, Alan said you want to schedule a meeting, so these are some times that work on Alan's calendar, because Cortana, as my personal assistant, knows my calendar when I'm free and when I'm not. And then Kat can respond and even say things in natural language, like, no, Monday and Tuesday doesn't work, how about Wednesday? And Cortana will understand this information and then respond back and say, oh, hey, Kat, these are some additional times that work on Wednesday. Then, again, Kat can respond to that, again using natural language, saying something like, oh, the first one works great. Cortana will then go ahead and send her a meeting request, automatically add that to my calendar, all without having to involve me in the process. So this, Cortana is using a service we call calendar.help. That is available in preview today. We're asking for more people to help us test this so we can continue to test all these scenarios, the words you use, how the back and forth proceeds, so that we can use that all into our algorithm to determine how we're going to have Cortana smart enough to schedule these meetings. So go to the website, calendar.help, and go ahead and sign up your account if you'd like to try it. It's actually a pretty amazing experience. Another area of focus for us is expanding our support for events in email. So for those of you who may not be familiar already with what we do with events in email, what this does is for specific types of emails, so travel information like hotels, package deliveries, and flight information, as well as, what am I missing? Okay, well, flights or package deliveries, hotels, that sort of stuff, rental cars, that's the one I was thinking of. We will take that information, pull out the key details, and automatically add it to your calendar. So without any copy and paste, without you having to take any action, we'll put that information on your calendar. So we're now expanding that to additional services and applications. So for example, OpenTable and Eventbrite are a couple of the ones we're bringing on to do dinner reservations, concerts, and events. And we're going to start working with bill providers over the next year as well. So all that information will be automatically added to your calendar. In addition to just being added to your calendar, you can see this nice, beautifully summarized card of all the key information right on top of the email, which helps you just see at a glance what you need out of that email. Additionally, we're happy to support, this has just been available in EN languages and English languages thus far, and so we're going to be expanding to other languages like French, German, Spanish, and Portuguese as we go over the next year as well.
Will that be available online, or is it available on, would that be out?
This is, sorry, great question. So the question was this available online or in Exchange on-prem? This is only available in Exchange Online. There's a lot of intelligence, obviously, that goes into parsing all those mails, and so it needs to be a daily updated service, and obviously that works online. All right, so I wouldn't be able to talk intelligence in Outlook without talking focused inbox. I think we've received this question quite a few times, so I'm hoping I can do a broad update for you here and make sure you guys know where we're at with the status of the rollout. So Focused Inbox as a feature is fully rolled out across the Office 365 service and is available on every endpoint as well. However, some of you are not seeing it in Outlook 2016 for Windows, the subscription version of Outlook 2016 for Windows. And I get questions all the time of, hey, why am I not seeing that yet? So we've rolled it out. If you're using the monthly channel, the version of Office 365 that updates every month, you should be seeing it today. If you're not using the monthly channel, and instead you're using the twice-a-year update channel, that will first roll out to that channel, the semi-annual channel, in March of 2018. So it's coming, bear with us. You've chosen to be on a little bit slower update cadence, and so it'll come to you when we get to that point. However, there still are a few people who are also using the current channel that don't see it yet. There's additional requirement. Outlook requires, for Focused Inbox, requires modern authentication to be enabled against Exchange Online in order to work. Now, some people have modern authentication on, some people don't, and so if you don't have modern authentication on, right now you're not seeing Focused Inbox. We heard loud and clear that several customers weren't quite yet ready to go to modern authentication. If you haven't, you should absolutely all be considering modern authentication. It's a much more secure process for authenticating between Outlook and Exchange Online. However, we are releasing an update in the next couple months that will remove the requirement that Focused Inbox has on modern authentication. So if you're not yet ready to get to modern authentication, we will be able to give you Focused Inbox before the end of the year. So stay tuned, it's coming. Please bear with us just a little bit longer. Oh, and I didn't click so that you could actually read that while I was saying it. There's all the information. All right, so let's move on to our fifth area of focus for the next year, and that's people. Satya actually demoed this briefly, or had someone demo this briefly in his keynote on Monday, but I want to take you just a little bit deeper on the way we're integrating the Microsoft Graph and the LinkedIn Graph into the people experiences in Outlook. So to do that, I'll actually jump over to a demo. All right, this was the demo you saw. So here I am in Outlook using the web version of Outlook. And I've got this beautiful contact card that has a ton of information, as I said, from the Microsoft Graph. Here you can see his contact information, where he reports to in the org, as well as some really rich information about the interactions JJ and I have had when we're working together. We've obviously been working to prepare for Ignite, so we've got a bunch of emails back and forth. I can see the attachments there. I can even dive deeper into the files and even sort down to the specific file type. We know when people are searching for information, name and who they're working with is often the first thing they go search for. And so we really want to make that a key part of the Outlook people experience. You've seen this updated people card obviously roll out here in web. It's available on iOS and Android as well as Outlook for Windows. It's coming out to the other platforms as well. Now, the additional thing we're just starting to roll out and we announced here is the integration of LinkedIn. So here, by clicking over to this next tab, I can have not just all the internal information powered by the Microsoft Graph, but the external information that we can know publicly about JJ from LinkedIn. So in this case, it asked me the first time to confirm which person is JJ. I'm lucky that he chooses the same picture to have internally and externally, so it's super easy. And now I can see his experience. It looks like he's been at Microsoft for a year or two, or a lot more than that. No. So you get all that rich information right there in the people card. So now I want to move on to talk about ecosystem. This is our last section we're going to talk about today. With these investments, we're looking to expand upon Outlook's awesome set of features by connecting with the apps and services that you use outside of Outlook, of course, to get work done. So we want to make this easier without making you jump back and forth a bunch of places. Which number was the Mac? Is that 8? There we go. Cool. So we've shown add-ins, and we've been talking about add-ins. We talked about it last year. However, we've continue to make improvements in add-ins, and one of the biggest things we've done over the last year is deliver this experience not just on web and Windows, but we've actually delivered it on the Mac platform as well as iOS and Android. So I just want to show you quickly how that works. So again, the idea of add-ins is to help you accomplish a bunch of awesome things without ever having to jump out of email. You don't have to do the context switch to find or to get work done. So here I am in iOS. I can click on these 3 little buttons and I can see all the add-ins I have available to me, available right here. So in this case, you can imagine I've received, as I work on the Outlook team, I receive a bug report, someone's having an issue, and from right here I can jump directly into Jira to report this to my team. So here I have Jira, I can select which project, in this case it's an Android app bug, and I can add it as part of the bug found issue. It automatically pulls in all the information from the email conversation and even lets me choose down here which documents I want to attach automatically to that issue. So again, instead of having to deal with the context switch and everything else, I can actually handle that task right here from Outlook. And so again, as I said, that now these are available cross-platform, you as organizations can choose to build applications, publish them in the store, and then your users can access them. You've got the right one sort of run anywhere experience. So if you're interested in building those for your organization, you can find that information at dev.outlook.com. dev.outlook.com. All right, so I want to show you that add-ins are one way we're expanding upon the Outlook experience, but another way we're doing it is with actionable messages. Actionable messages allow you to take actions directly in the message. Instead of the message being static, the message is actually able to be interacted with right from Outlook. So again, imagine you could use this like if you're the IT or director in your org and you want to get a survey out to your users. Ask them what they think of Office 365. They will, of course, give you a 10. And then fill out information and go ahead and send this. And I can do this all just directly from my inbox. The same thing if you actually have an experience where you're sending users emails, you can actually create these emails like Trello has done so that in Outlook I can actually interact with the notification. So I've got this notification about a new task. I gotta create my demo script for this demo, and I can go ahead and change the due date or add a comment here directly from Outlook without having to jump out to their service. So really awesome stuff to help your business. Now, again, for you guys, you can think about these for the standard business process type things within your organization, whether it's approving invoices or other things related to travel or hiring folks or doing surveys. There's lots of things that you just have these quick one-off tasks where you have to get a link and then jump off to a website and log in and approve and jump back and forth. You can think about how you can automate these processes to save your users time. All right, so back to add-ins now that I'm back from the demo. Add-ins obviously are available across platform now, but we want to make it even easier for you to set these add-ins up in your organization. So we're currently rolling out, and it should be available here any day in your Office 365 tenant, the release of the centralized deployment area of the Office 365 Admin Center. So here you're going to be able to choose the add-ins from the Microsoft Store or upload your own that you've created and set them up for your users. So you can say they're automatically installed or they're available to install, or you can block certain add-ins if you want your users not to add them. So this experience, when you push those add-ins out to your users, will work across Windows, Mac, and the web. On iOS and Android, you still need to add them. The user needs to add them separately because we're trying to make sure that experience, the code that runs there on the app still stays pretty small. So that finishes up our demos. So I hope that was pretty exciting to see what we're doing for the next year in Outlook. We ask as you start thinking about some questions, if you're excited about what you saw here, that you walk out with a couple thoughts. First, we'd ask that you consider thinking about Office 365 Pro Plus. You probably haven't heard anyone ask you that during the conference. so far. But really, it truly is the best way to get the best of what Outlook has to offer, whether it's on desktop, on Windows, whether it's on the Mac platform. We're going to be providing the most up-to-date, complete experience, not just from a productivity feature perspective, which of course will be the best on that platform, but the security, the reliability, the performance improvements, the simplicity improvements that we talked about here today will be available first in that platform. So it's really going to be beneficial for your business to consider moving on to that platform. Second, Outlook Mobile. We've invested a ton of work into that to make it really the richest experience. Again, we think about this as the loved by users, trusted by IT is our mantra with mobile, that we still want to make sure we're giving you all the protection controls and security controls that you have with that app, as well as all the features that you can use to get work done that would be available, say, on web or desktop or Mac. And we think we've done that, and as we've now moved off of any of the old legacy architecture that was somewhat in AWS, we now think it's a perfect time to try that. And lastly, of course, with a great demo we had from Induri, that you should consider using groups. Distribution lists, shared calendars, and other things have been something you guys have used a long time in your organizations to do collaboration and teamwork already. Groups are just these supercharged, and so we highly encourage you to get those rolled out in your organization. So with that, I think we'll wrap up and take questions. Thank you very much for the time, and we'll open it up for questions. Thank you. We'll start over here.
Thank you. So question about the intelligence stack. So actionable messages, cool. Event detection, cool. Both of those, though, are really two parts of a much bigger problem, which I'd love to see fixed. So in my enterprise, we've got hundreds of enterprise apps, right? All doing tasking-based emails, right? Please approve your expenses. Please approve your leave. Please approve your training requests. Please do this, right? I'll see that, potentially, some of that in my focused inbox. But if that happened last week, I may have missed it. And there's no easy way to see all of that in one place, right? What I'd love to see, and what some of the other mobile apps are doing outside of Outlook, but on top of O365, is pulling that into a pane, right? Which might be something like a focused inbox, but for task-based emails. And I'd love to see that as a my corporate tasks folder in Outlook that gives me a sense of these are all my tasks that I can go back to and find them. There's a challenge there around, using Graph, right, to go and see who in my organisation is writing regularly to big groups of people with some signals out of that look like they're task-based emails. The amount of time we spend in our enterprise chasing people down for account revalidation, for access management, for everything else, that is a much bigger problem for me than it'd be great if I knew when my Amazon package was being delivered, right? So I'd love to see some focus on that, or to hear about where your thoughts are for where that's going.
So if I'm crystallizing that, you're sort of saying, for tasks that are sent out from the organization to a large set of users, like, hey, complete your compliance training by January 1st, you'd love to have that sort of added to people's calendars sort of automatically, or some sort of way that they would have that.
A lens to see that and to be able to go and look at it. It's sort of a set of corporate tasks, which everybody has, but there is no current one way of finding that from one place. And there's a few challenges with that, right? Because you'll get some false positives on that. So maybe you'd want to do some admin validation on those scenarios. So we validate, this is one. And obviously the time-based method of issue of, is it still valid? But there's a whole heap of productivity to be saved across enterprises if you can give people a way to see all that stuff.
It's great feedback. I'll take it back to the team. There's nothing we're working on there, but it's certainly an interesting scenario. I think it would probably be something like actual messages, where we would provide you some tools to classify or tag those, because it would be pretty challenging to accurately tag those at the service level.
It's graph intelligence, I think. If you'd be looking for volume of mails with a set of indicators in there that look like you're being asked to do something, and then maybe you'd want to do admin validation that said, this is our expenses app. The actionable messages is cool, but it's a very high bar to go per app across an entire enterprise, right? We're 100,000 plus global company to go and work through each of those apps. Build actionable messages into a solution that incorporates that, and that's then a better experience for that paradigm as well.
Great, thank you very much, appreciate it. We'll go back here and then come around.
We have a lot of customers who are running Outlook in a Citrix or XenApp environment, and they have severe performance issues? Are you working on that kind of better performing Outlook on virtual environments?
So the short answer is yes. We're not far enough along to be able to talk about it here at Ignite. We are aware that running Outlook in, we call them virtual desktop infrastructure environments, can be painful, especially against the cloud. Some of the early changes we took to Outlook 2016 to try and, in response to customer feedback in this area, was to provide a really short sync slider window. I think it goes down really, like 1 day or even 3 days. Yeah, 1 day. And so that's an alternative that we provide, but we're starting to hit up against some more fundamental Outlook architecture issues. And so we are working through those, but we're not far enough along to be able to talk about it here.
Okay.
Thank you. Back over here.
Sure, yeah, mine should be pretty simple. But to Outlook for Mac feature, either requests or whether or not they're available. First, emailing as a distribution list out of Outlook for Mac. I know we can on the PC, but can we do that yet, or will that be available on a Mac?
So that is on our roadmap. It's not in the immediate next quarter roadmap, but we heard that loud and clear from enterprise.
And then changing the font color for incoming messages, or?
That is actually not to the level of what Windows Outlook can do. We're trying to find a balance between style and readability, but we're never going to have something akin to the capabilities of changing drastically size and font for incoming messages.
Thank you for your question. Up here.
Are there any plans to have a centralized, synchronized signature? So if you have your signature in Outlook on Windows and you change it, and then to Outlook Mobile, that you can have the same signature.
We're actually looking at a lot more than just signature to start roaming across all assets.
All right.
And that will be one of the first. As we brought, for example, in Outlook for Mac favorites. Well, we do not have a way to roam that, but it's also true of other Outlook for mobile. So we're looking for a centralized way to roam a lot of assets at account level, at device level and platform, so that if you set up your Outlook for Mac on one machine and another one, and you have a certain preferences about how you read messages, that will roam because it's platform-based. But also, if you have favorites for that account you configure, that's going to be available to any of the Outlooks that are connected to the mailbox.
Okay. And, well, categories then as well?
On the list.
On the
but
list.
I would say that ultimately things that Windows does is able to roam around based using FAI. We should be able to roam as well.
Okay, cool. Good news.
Thanks for the question. Back there.
Thank you. Good presentation first.
Thank you.
Two questions. The first one is maybe a simple one, but is there any plan to provide forward meetings from mobile clients?
Is there a way to forward a meeting from the iOS and Android apps? So there is already today if you're using it connected to an Office 365 mailbox. If you're connected to on-prem at the moment, the feature is not available. We expect to have it be available. We announced in the Outlook, deploying Outlook in the enterprise session, that we have got a new architecture that we're working on for Exchange on-prem accounts that will enable this. It requires some setup in a hybrid relationship setup for your organization. I can share a lot more of the details with you, but we're planning on that in the first quarter of 2018. And once that architecture is available, a bunch of the features that are currently only available to Office 365 customers in the Outlook app, like forward a meeting, adding a Skype meeting, editing recurrent settings, show as, all those sorts of things will be available to Exchange on-prem accounts as well as Office 365 accounts.
Okay. The second question is related to collaboration. Any plans to integrate Microsoft Teams with groups? Because it seems redundant.
Yeah, so actually everything is built on top of Office 365 Group Service. So Office 365 Group Service is a membership service that you take a set of users and they have one common identity in Azure Active Directory, and then you have a connected set of resources. So permissioning and everything is very simple. And now Office 365, groups in Outlook, Microsoft Teams, as well as Yammer, SharePoint, they're all built on top of that. Right now, if you create a group, it's created in AAD as an object, and so that means Teams, you can add Teams on top of that and use both of them. But the other answer to this is I mean, we've seen people who use both of them together. Microsoft Teams is more of like a real-time chat. So if you're on a small developer team and you need like a lot of information very quickly, we see that Teams is a good use case for that. But if you're familiar with the space of Outlook and you're mainly using email collaboration, we see people using groups in Outlook for that. And we've seen people using like distribution lists, so that's one of the easiest. It's a modernized distribution list, so it could be replaced. Like 80% of your distribution list can now be replaced by groups in Outlook.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Yep, here.
Another Mac thing. For years, the Outlook for Mac was limited just by the underlying communication between Exchange and the client. I think maybe way back it used to be ActiveSync, maybe it wasn't even real. It's not MAPI or something. There was some underlying functional problem that prevented multiple calendars and other things. You just plain couldn't have it. Has all that been fixed now in 2016 to where there's no connectivity limiting what features will work between Windows and Mac?
It is a work in progress.
Okay.
Outlook uses EWS, and the story between Entourage to 2011, 2016 is convoluted. We'll take a couple of holy nights to talk about. But we're moving from EWS SOAP to REST, not just as Outlook for Mac, but across the board. Like we're using REST to talk across multiple new features. Ultimately, there's going to be a next step, which we're going to talk about in detail, where we want to have an abstraction layer on top of the protocols that are used so that all the clients talk to this abstraction layer and we can develop at a higher rate of speed and bring capabilities across the board consistently. Because the problem with EWS, especially SOAP, was that as it was only used by us and Apple Mail, a lot of the features didn't have a header. Therefore, we could not implement a feature in parity with Windows. So definitely 2016 has improved a lot of things. A lot of the problems of performance and synchronization, ability to have multiple accounts or multiple calendars have been addressed at a protocol layer, but it's only an intermediate step towards the standardization across all the Outlooks.
Okay, and then I have one other silly one. In Outlook for Windows, every time you move your inboxes to the top of a favorites list, they always get screwed up and go down to the bottom later. They just get moved in favorites. I've had 10 different machines, 3 different 365 accounts. In favorites, you've got inboxes at the top. You reboot a couple times, and they're back at the bottom again. It doesn't lose them, but it always moves them around. Am I the only one that's
If you are an insider slow, you get contact support. I would love to have folks submit that kind of support request.
Thought it was something that happened to everybody. Thanks.
Thank you.
Fortunately and unfortunately, no for you. In the back first, and then we'll finish up with this one up here.
I was sent up here from downstairs for JJ. I had a question in regards to OWA, and I'm pushing my organization towards using OWA a lot more. And we're heavy on emailing from Salesforce. So when my users click on the link, what happens is the mail to protocol. I'm trying to figure out how I can get that to populate in OWA. As of right now, I've figured out a way to get it to open up and bring me to the inbox, but I can never get it to actually compose an email from OWA.
So you want the mail to pop OWA?
Instead of the Windows client.
I don't know off the top of my head. Sorry.
It's a great one to take back to the team. I don't think we have any solution for that right now. I'm actually not even sure how that works, frankly. So,
I found a little workaround in Chrome using an extension called Mail2, and what it allows me to do is put in a link, and with that link, I figured out to the point where it would open up the inbox, but never actually compose.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's chat afterwards, and I would love to take this scenario. Okay, last one here, and then we'll step out, let these guys set up so we can get questions.
Sure. So we just went through an office upgrade recently, and now we're still on premise today, and we're moving to Office 365. One of the questions
Congratulations.
Thanks. One of the questions I had was, so our Microsoft Office is from our volume licensing, and I saw that you guys recommend the Office 365 Pro Plus. And my guess is that a lot of the features that you're showing today, is Office 365 Pro Plus required, or just trying to understand?
Yeah, so there's specific features, particularly the security and intelligence-based features that really require a connection to Office 365 and require sort of continuous improvement. And so you only get the feature updates in the 365 version, and so those features don't really make technological sense to bring to the other, like the traditional MSI type installs, because they're just a static point in time. And you release a security feature, but it never gets updated. It goes out of support, or it doesn't, it's not very helpful, a week later once,
So is the recommendation typically with the migration to Office 365 is to also upgrade Office
to the
use
subscription Office 365 version of the Office apps. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, thank you. All right, thank you. We'll step us over here and you can continue to ask those questions, but thank you.
Thank you.